You are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
Come on, it's time, bitches. This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That is Evo. It's Tuesday night. We are here recapping Week 10. Not a terrible week for me. Evo, you're going to want this week back, brother. But there were some good football games. A lot of good football, some not so great football as well. But we're going to go and break down every game from Week 10. Tell you what we saw. You guys are more than welcome to hop in here. Tell us what you saw. Tell us where you think we got it right, where you think we got it wrong. The bets will tell you where some of this was right and wrong. But without further ado, let me bring in my guy. Evo, you look dapper as fuck tonight, my guy. How you doing?
It was just a longer work day and didn't get a chance to switch into my normal afternoon, evening comfies, which is also why I housed 4 slices of pizza, 2 of them during just the intro. So yeah, getting in the food, totally carnivore friendly, of course. Margarita pizza. Doing good though, man. Tired, like I said, long day of work, and happy to be here talking about football. And the funny thing is, I didn't have a very good week of betting. It felt fine, but the results were not. So yeah, like you said that, and I went back and looked at our list, and I was like, okay, well, definitely went negative. But es lo que es, as they say in the business.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. So you know what? We won't hold it off too much longer. We'll at least show the people what happened for the week, and then we'll go from there. I went 8-6 on the week. I am now 2 games over 500. Pretty fucking excited about that, Evo. 5-9 on the week, my guy. Tough showing, down to 70 and 82. The entire betting world is getting taken this year, it feels like. You are having a rough spot. You were on the highest of highs last year. 67-ish% when we were including money line bets. This year, the spread has been a little bit brutal to you. You've lost some close ass games.
Yeah, I feel in my plums, like I know what teams are generally going to win, which teams are generally going to lose. It's when you start factoring in spread stuff. And to be completely honest, a majority of the spreads I took last year, teams that I was like, this team's going to win and they're the underdog. So I might as well take the points. I mean, to me, that's just smart betting. But when we're going spread only, it is tough because you see teams that should win. You pick them to win, but they're gonna drop those points just below where they should be, and it's a tough look. It's a tough look, but overall, for not being a spread better very much, only being 12 games back from 500, I'll take it for now. It's a first time for everything, and I wasn't expecting to bat 1,000 right off the rip, so
listen,
I'm all right with it.
Couple good weeks turns this thing right around. That's what happened to me. All it takes is a couple of banger weeks, and then you're right back in this thing. But we'll go ahead. We'll get rid of this because we got some games to recap. But before we start recapping games, we got some other interesting things going on in the sports world coming up. One that I know that we're both very excited for. I'm going to go out on a limb and say one of our childhood heroes, somebody that we revered as an athlete, is going to beat the shit out of somebody we don't necessarily revere as an athlete. And I'm all here for it. Mike Tyson boxing Jake Paul this Friday.
Yeah. On Netflix, it's happening. Obviously, it was postponed and then possibly canceled and then put back on. The Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is happening on Friday on Netflix. Tyson's posted pictures of himself. He looks like an older gentleman who's ripped to fuck, and he still looks like the last person you want to meet in a fucking alleyway. If this is a legitimate fight, if it is nothing funny business behind the scenes, look, Paul has looked better as he's gone along in his fighting career for sure.
Yes.
Tyson's a different fucking animal, man. Like, I truly believe every time that he steps in the ring, he is prepared to kill. Like, there is zero break on that car.
Yeah, all gas. There's no chance. If he gets the opportunity, he's going to take his head off. Now, obviously, Mike is a much older guy, much older fighter. As I age, I realize, man, the shit that I can do at Jake Paul's age does not happen. I'm only fucking 36. But you know what? This is Mike Tyson we're talking about. In his 50s, but he's in damn good shape for being in his 50s. He's a world-class athlete. And the man has a nasty streak you do not want to be on the other end of, especially if there's a fucking left hook coming behind it. If this gets into a situation where Tyson can keep him close, where Jake can't dodge, move, bounce around a little bit, a couple of them hooks and those uppercuts start flying, night. I don't care how fucking old Mike Tyson is or how well trained Paul is as a boxer. If he gets him in a corner and lights him up, it's a wrap. There's no shot.
Yeah, my key to victory here for Tyson is it's the age factor. You got to end this early.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Tyson can take pretty much every punch. I don't know if you're going to rattle the old man. All right. I don't know if he has it in him to be rattled. So Tyson's got to go at him hardcore from the get-go, because if there's one thing that Tyson is going to not have that he did when he was younger, it's the endurance. Like, as you age, naturally, you just do not have the endurance no matter how much you train. So if this thing goes the distance, I will be very surprised. I think Tyson has to get him in 3 rounds.
Well, 3 rounds feels like it's pretty quick. I mean, Tyson went 8 rounds with who the fuck was that a couple years ago? I don't remember, but he's gone a few rounds now. Obviously, that's still a couple of years ago. I think that you're right. It's got to be quick, but I want to know, is Mike Tyson going to fight the way Mike Tyson used to fight? Is Mike coming out just high out of his mind on fucking mushrooms and Paul is going to be like some evil creature that he's going to have, because that would be the worst thing that's ever happened for Jake Paul. Mike Tyson crushes mushrooms like they're his fucking job, like they're candy, Pez dispenser style. So it would. Oh man, I'm worried for Jake.
That's the thing is like
Roy Jones.
Tyson, he is a different person than he was, legitimately. Like,
It's
he
true.
has evolved so much as a person. He's so much more wise, but he still has that fucking demon in him that he had when he was younger. What, like, it's, I don't know what else to call it. The Mamba mentality that Kobe had, the way that MJ turned everyone into a villain and wrote that narrative in his head that was like, I will do anything to fucking destroy this person. That's what Tyson had, except for Tyson legitimately was doing it in a combat sport where if you weren't holding him back, he would probably kill a person.
He was
Like,
the most
scary.
feared human being on the planet for a long fucking time. And that's legit, like literally feared inside and outside of the ring.
Yeah. And look, sparring 8 rounds 4 to 5 times a day, or 8 rounds 4 to 5 days a week, that is good for sure. It's never going to be the real thing, right? It's never going to be under the lights and everything with a guy who is also going out there with his not necessarily livelihood on the line, because that's part of it, is that as a boxer, your livelihood is on the line in every fight when you're doing professional boxing. Jake Paul still has his entire YouTube social media career to fall back on. So he doesn't have, and I don't want to be disparaging, I don't want to say he doesn't have that drive as a boxer, because he obviously does to get where he's at, but it is different. There is a safety net. And I think that for a lot of boxers and stuff like that, the safety net isn't there. And so they are fighting for their life. And I think that's how Tyson went into the ring every single time. He was fighting for his life. It was his livelihood. And I don't know that you can age that out of a guy. Like, that is who he is.
Yeah, it is who he is. I'm excited for this fight, man. What time does it start? 9? It's fairly early for a fight.
Don't know what time it starts in the 13 colonies time, but in mountain time, 6 p.m.
Okay, so 8 here then, because you guys are only 2 hours behind us now.
At least that's when the
Arizona.
broadcast starts in Arizona. So
Okay.
I don't know if there's going to be the prelims and whatnot, but that's what we're looking at on Friday night. So it's going to be a hell of a watch. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think myself, along with probably like 90% of America, wants to see Tyson go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, unless you're a tween, you're probably rooting for Tyson.
And even then, I don't know if the tweens want him.
Yeah, but all right, man. We're ready to start hopping into the world of football, taking us back.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. Oh, before we do that, though, everybody tuning in right now, thank you very much. We appreciate you so much. We have a very fun show planned tonight. We're going to recap week 10, but going into this next Sunday, before we hop into the show, Evo, I apologize. We are going to have another guest picker join us this Sunday. We've had some fun people join us here recently. Friend of the show, Nick Carnes, friend of mine, also Army veteran, Devin Dent was able to join us. Well, coming up here this Sunday, we're going to have a legit newsman join us. I wasn't sure that this show was ever going to be deserving of having an actual newsman join us. I don't know is what we do as the news, but I'm very excited for the one and only Carmen Angelo to join us this upcoming Sunday. Big time name here in Cleveland radio over at WTAM 1100. So he's going to join us, pick some games. We're going to do a little interview with him to start this show, but I'm very excited to have him. So, guys, if you want to tune into that conversation, 11 a.m. on Sunday morning, we will have that going. We're going to pick all the games and have a conversation with Carmen. But with that, we can go ahead and get ready to hop into the show. But one last thing, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Everything you do. If you would not mind, please hop over to the YouTube, no matter where you're tuning in, and like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube page. We will never ask you to give us your money. We ask that you give us some time and click that button over on the YouTube page, the subscribe button. Evo, let's rock and roll. Let's start breaking down these games from the week.
All right, buddy. So I don't know that we ended our show too early or too late for that Giants-Panthers game out in Munich, but we'll still recap it. Mm-hmm. Panthers take the W in Munich, Germany, 20-17 over the New York Giants. Giants fans are in an absolute blender. Not that things were going good before, and I've had some relatively positive things to say about, obviously, the defensive side of the ball for the Giants, but that kind of low water mark for teams tends to be losing to the Panthers. The Panthers, who are kind of well regarded as the worst team in football, the worst roster in football, the worst owner in football.
That one's not even a question.
And the Panthers get yet another win. That's 2 weeks in a row now that they're on an absolute fucking tear. You don't want to run into these kiddies right now because they are fucking insane, apparently. They win 20-17 versus the Giants, and the Giants have to take some real long, hard looks at what they're going to be doing. Look, we all know Daniel Jones is not the answer. The team knows Daniel Jones is not the answer. The expectation is that they will take that out and release him next offseason. Theoretically, he could be traded, and I think that there could be a trade market for him. But I don't know if the new league year and when the time frame is that they would have to cut him in order for his contract not to toll over is going to work with that. Daniel Jones has legitimate high-end backup capabilities with his legs and the fact that he has had a lot of starts under his belt. But we've seen it time in and time out. He doesn't have the NFL arm as far as accuracy down the field or between the ears in order to be a contending quarterback legitimately. And you do have some talented pieces on this Giants team. Not a ton. Like, that offense definitely needs a heavy rebuild. But you have guys like a Tyrone Tracy. You have a Malik Neighbors. You have got Wan'Dale Robinson. Andrew Thomas, before he went down, as your left tackle. Like, you've got some important pieces on that team. You got to figure out the quarterback position. And Daboll, we've seen how good he has been able to be with the Bills, and now coming to the Giants, things just haven't worked out. I do not think that Daboll is going to get fired. I'm not sure that Shane, the GM, is going to get fired, but they can't keep going forward like this. And I think the big story is Daboll in his presser was very not non-committal towards Daniel Jones, but he wasn't very positively speaking about him. Typically, when a head coach starts doing that, that's the end of a quarterback's tenure as a starter for a team. Daniel Jones, that talks about his contract, if he were to get injured, how it's going to basically force the team to pay him the extra money for next year on the contract. I think we could see that quarterback swap happen before Sunday, where they're going to be starting Drew Lock and DeVito as their quarterback going forward this year. And for all intents and purposes, at 2-8, you probably should. You need to look towards the future, towards a quarterback, and towards rebuilding this roster, get the best draft picks possible, because there's no way that you're putting together a 7-game streak here.
Not a chance.
To get above fucking 500.
Yeah, so you're right. Daniel Jones is done. It's over. Now we're gonna see. You brought it up. We're gonna run into that Russell Wilson situation. They're gonna have to bench him, or they're gonna threaten the whatever. You got to get rid of these guarantees. Very similar to that, because if he does get hurt, they have to pay him. For me, if I'm a Giants fan, give me Tommy D. I want to see some more of that. I want to see if the kid has grown some at all, because you kind of know what else is there. You have some nice pieces, but they are in a very, very bad spot. Daniel Jones was outplayed by a guy that I don't really consider to be an NFL caliber quarterback in Bryce Young. Now, Bryce did not play a great game, played good enough to win, Chuba Hubbard, huge day though. A guy that you were not a huge fan of is having a pretty nice little like uptick season. I don't know if he's getting ready to go into a contract or was getting ready to go into a contract, but just got re-signed.
Yeah. Look, like he had an awesome fucking first half of this game. And he has performed like a starting caliber running back. And earned himself a contract. I mean, they've got a guy there now that they just drafted who's probably going to take over his kind of lead back role. But I think Carolina is hoping that they can fall into a situation, at least in the running game, kind of like with what Detroit has, having two very, very high end running backs. I wouldn't call Chuba Hubbard a high end running back. I think that he has shown that he can be a starter in this league at this point, but he's going to kind of be that middling, average running back on most weeks.
But I mean,
and they've built that offensive line to be good in the run game as well. So I think that's what they're going to lean towards at first.
When you think about the style of running back that Brooks is, though, it makes a lot of sense. Your Alvin Kamara type guy. You don't necessarily want him toting the rock all the time. You don't want to put 450 touches on that guy, especially coming off of the injury. So keeping Chuba there, because he got a 2-year extension, I believe, is what it was. It allows Brooks to kind of continue to get healthy, grow, carve out a role, and you can use him in that Alvin Kamara style role, which is what his main comp was coming out. So I like the re-signing there. Panthers get a dub. I don't know that the ownership group is happy about the Panthers continuing to win. I think they're dead set that Bryce is probably not their guy as well. They're going to be looking at quarterback in the draft. The worse they do, the better. And their owner has no qualms about firing anybody at any time. I would not be surprised if there was a scenario where they had like a major league style situation where the owner begins to purposely sabotage this team so they can try again with probably a new set of coaches and a new quarterback, because there's absolutely no stability there.
Yeah, it's really tough to build an organization when you tell guys to lose, but I could absolutely see that kind of being the situation, like for both of these teams at this point.
Yeah.
Like if you can give guarantees to both coaches that they're going to be there going forward, and if the ownership were to come in and be like, hey guys, we understand that this is kind of a lost cause this year. We're going to let you guys play, but we're not going to push for wins or anything like that because we want to build a roster going forward. It's tough for NFL players to get behind that because a lot of the guys, especially mid-roster and lower end of the roster, they're playing for their jobs. So these guys are not going to want to be told to hold back at all. But for both of them, I think that these are two teams that they're racing towards the first overall pick.
Yeah.
And they've got some competition as well. Don't let that pass over your head.
Sure do.
This is a rough year. It feels like we have more bad teams this year than we did last year.
Yeah. No, it feels like there's a lot of bad football teams. Injuries have hurt a lot of teams. Injuries have maybe never not going to say that on the part. Injuries have been bad. Injuries are bad. Anyways, let's move on to the next game before I hold on. Do you really think they're going to keep Canales around? Do you really think?
I do. I think that.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. Do you think that ownership group is going to draft a new quarterback, because that is almost certainly the intent, and keep the head coach and do another forced marriage?
In my gut, I feel like they will. I feel like they like some of the, like obviously have had 2 wins in a row with a roster that shouldn't.
Yeah.
It says something about the coach. There's no possible way that with Dan Morgan as your GM and David Tepper as your fucking owner, that you get those two in a room with Canales and they have any conversation saying like there's a minimum benchmark that you have to meet this year as far as wins. Like as bad of an owner as Tepper is, as quick as he is to fucking pull the trigger, they all have to know how bad top to bottom this roster was. They all have to know that this team is in hardcore rebuild mode and that Bryce Young very well might not be the guy. Like, they had to have known that going into the year, and any sort of positive words outwards is just that. It is projecting positivity when you know otherwise, right? There's, to me, bringing Canales in for probably the exorbitant amount of money that they had to give him to go there, it isn't worth it to bring him in if you're just going to jettison him the next year and gladly give him up to a team that wants a new offensive coordinator, like the Bears or someone like that. Like, I feel in my plums that he's still going to be there for another year. That'll get a rookie quarterback, and that rookie quarterback might give him a bit of a leash. Might.
Still David Tepper, though.
It is David Tepper.
So that leash might still be short, even if it's longer than normal. But move into the next game where we're still talking about bad fucking coaches. Patriots get a big fat dub against the Bears. Game that we both called. We both
thought they were going to win.
We both thought they would win because the Bears have been so fucking bad on offense. I actually called for the firing of Eberflus. That's what I thought would happen. Hasn't happened yet. And now, considering that it's Tuesday, it will not be happening this week. Yeah. But there's no fucking way that the ownership of the Bears can continue to roll out this group. Watch this offense put up no fucking points, have no design concepts that make any sense. The spacing is bad, and it's seen everywhere. Orlovsky is tearing these guys apart every week. Patriots rightfully won this game because the Bears can't do fuck all on offense over the last, 4 weeks, it feels like. So that's where I got it. It's the bad offense by the Bears loses them another game that they could win because the Patriots really aren't very fucking good.
Yeah. And this offense being so bad is exactly why they fired Waldron today. That it is Eberflus as well, though. Look, there's no doubt about it. They should not have gone into this year with Eberflus as their head coach. I think everyone knew it, except for the GM didn't want to pull the trigger. That's been his biggest fuck up so far, because so far he's done a fantastic job of kind of turning this roster around, bringing in some talent, but to stick with Matt Eberflus as long as they did, and now to have, I believe it's Thomas Davis that is going to be the offensive coordinator.
I don't know who the fuck's
who was he was the offensive coordinator for the Panthers last year with Bryce Young, and drove him down into the fucking dirt. Yeah, whoever the OC is was the former Panthers offensive coordinator. I know that much. I don't expect to see anything crazy, anything different there. Yeah, look, Eberflus has to go, man, and it's tough. Yeah. Like you would think that you'd want to bring it. Like they had an opportunity to go after a guy like Harbaugh, like a Chicago guy who is going to be able to develop a quarterback and going to create a moxie on this team. Like you could have gone after this dude, and now you're in a real bad spot where, like, one of the other prime candidates for a head coach that you could go after this year is an offensive coordinator within your own division, and he's probably not going to jump ship. Like, I don't expect the Lions OC to go to the Bears.
Ben Johnson?
Personally. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. Bobby Slowick, another big name with the Texans, having a down year. I don't know that that's going to be worth it either. Like, you should have gone after an offensive guy. You should have said, Eberflus, thank you for your service, but we are building something new here. We are bringing in a new franchise quarterback, and we are going in a different direction. We need an offensive-minded guy. And they completely screwed the pooch here.
Yes, they did. So I don't have much else to say about this game. It was just a really bad offensive showing from the Bears all the way around.
Yeah. Patriots didn't need to really do anything special. One passing touchdown and a bunch of field goals is all that it took to beat the Bears here. Caleb Williams, 120 yards, 16 of 30. He's got a lot of growing to do too. But look, that until they put in a competent offensive system there, I don't know that we're going to see a whole lot better. Yeah, the Bears got a good defense, but they cannot put it together on offense. Plain and simple. Alrighty. Next up, much better game to an extent. Bills and Colts. Bills get the win here, 30-20. Another kind of rough outing for Joe Flacco. Conversations were had about would Flacco possibly get benched. He's already been called the starter again for next week. So Steichen's already made that clear. He is sticking going forward with Anthony Richardson being on the bench unless there's an injury or something like that. Flacco, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. That's that high variability. That's the Jameis Winston style play that you're going to get from him. Something that you got to see last year. Flacco is willing to sling the ball around, and you're going to have days like this where you're going to have big interceptions. Jonathan Taylor, nice run day, 114 yards rushing, and a couple more through the air. It wasn't a terrible offensive day for the Colts, but they were playing from behind, and that's Josh Allen is fucking playing lights out right now. Like all around, again, the Bills are looking like a fantastic team. They get that W in Indy that they haven't had since Doug Flutie was the starting quarterback there, and that sort of historical reference doesn't really matter when you're going such a good team versus a team that is very middling.
Yeah, the Colts are kind of meh. Josh Allen, well, he's been playing well. This was not his best game, in my opinion. Now, ran the ball well, did what he needed to do, moved the ball up and down the field for 280 yards, but made some pretty questionable decisions. One of those picks should have been a pick 6 if the defender keeps his feet. So this score actually is probably a little bit closer. Some bad decisions. Josh needs to go back to playing the way he was before. Now, obviously, tougher matchup, missing your number 2 receiver in Keon Coleman.
Both your number 1 and number 2, Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper didn't play as well.
Yeah, I still feel like Shakir might be his favorite guy anyways.
Shakir is definitely a volume guy. But he's more of a traditional number 3. I believe Dalton Kincaid also got hurt in this game.
Yeah, Dawson Knox had a nice fucking grab deep down the sideline. I watched a lot of this game, man. Listen, the Colts probably win this game if Joe Flacco doesn't make so many mistakes. Josh played good enough to win and cover. Need to start making better decisions with the ball, especially that last one. He threw that fucking out off his back foot. It didn't get it out enough, and that shit got picked. It should have been 6 if the defender keeps his feet. Good game, fun game, but Bills come away with a
sounded so Trumpy there. Good game, fun game,
good game. Not doing it. No,
not doing it. God,
I can't do the voice, man. Fuck it. I can't do the voice. I don't know that I want to, even though it would be fucking hilarious.
It's always
the Trump
fun.
Impersonations are so good.
We get at least 4 years or until an assassination happens of fun. So we'll see.
And
next up.
Cancel.
I don't think so anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore. Out of there. Next up, Broncos and Chiefs, and the Broncos nearly steal one away, nearly get that first W, or excuse me, first L for the Chiefs, until the Chiefs, of course, block the field goal.
W for the league, it would have been. W for the league, Chiefs going down.
Yeah, and look, a little bit of hate on the Facebook page for me posting a picture of Patrick Mahomes kissing a ref created by AI. It's all for fun. It's a character piece, all right? Like it is what it is. It's
what the league expects to happen. The referee in the middle of the game to tell him when the guy was going to hit him.
Yeah, on a hot mic. Not a good look.
Yeah, not great. Great joke. As long as nobody else hears it.
For sure. But we say this all the time. We want parity. Seeing a team go undefeated, unless it's our team, which is lovely. But seeing a team basically go undefeated or basically just have their way with every team that they play, it isn't super fun to watch unless you're a fan of that team. We like seeing parity. We like seeing David take down Goliath. And this would have been a David take down Goliath type situation. The Broncos going into Arrowhead and nearly beating the Chiefs. Super exciting if you're a Chiefs fan to watch that fucking blocked field goal. I bet that sort of exhalation of relief was probably amazing.
When the 49ers missed the kick last year, when I was in the fucking stands, amazing. It exploded. I'm sure Arrowhead was bananas after the double thud there.
For sure. But that takes us back to the actual game. Bo Nix had himself yet another pedestrian but decent day. 2 touchdowns, 7.2 yard average, a little bit higher than you normally see, 215 yards, an overall good completion percentage. Audric Estime, the rookie out of Notre Dame, did he take over as the lead back here? And that's the talk in a lot of circles, is that Javonte Williams might be getting the bench after only getting 1 carry for 1 yard. Jaleel McLaughlin, who's the backup to Javonte Williams, only got 2 carries. I mean, Audric Estime was running 14 carries against the fucking one of the best defenses in the league, one of the better run defenses in the league. Yeah, he only got 53 yards, 3.8 yard average, but he got the bulk, the major workload of the run game in this game here. So it could be kind of a sign that either Denver is going with a very variable backfield, or they're moving towards Audric Estime as being the future starter here.
Well, I can tell you Javonte Williams can't block for fuck all. That might be one of the reasons he's not seeing the field very much. I watched, he was a chipper. He was supposed to help on a D end in chip and got ran the fuck over. It was the worst rep of pass pro I've seen from a running back in quite some time. It was terrible. So it would not surprise me if that is one of the reasons why Javonte sees 1 carry and a rookie is way outpacing him. Bo Nix, I know you say pedestrian day, sure, but for Bo Nix, he played pretty fucking good. Like, watching that game, he made some good throws, made some big-time throws. Now, obviously, Bo still makes mistakes. Bo makes some big-ass, dumbass mistakes. Took points off the board. They would have been up in this game, not needing that game-winning field goal, had Bo Nix not sprinted 15 yards back on a fucking sack. Took them out of field goal range, took points off the board. So good things from Bo, and a lot of really bad things from Bo. Chiefs did what they needed to do, man. Kelsey, big time target again, finally starting to get the lion's share of the targets. DeAndre Hopkins, not going to be a world beater in this offense, but finding his spots, working in nicely. Chiefs did enough, played good enough defense, man. They don't beat the shit out of anybody. I don't know why. I was like, yeah, the Chiefs can fucking cover 7.5. I don't know why I thought the Chiefs would cover that much. I know better than that. Hopefully I don't do that again this week.
Well, look, they're looking forward here at the Chiefs games. The biggest game of the year, I think, for everyone watching the Chiefs is this next week. They're playing at Buffalo. This is probably the best bet for them to take an L. That being said, like, right after the Bills, they have the Panthers. The Panthers are fucking killing everyone right now.
Yeah.
So, they could possibly lose there. That would be
trap
fucking
game.
Wild, right?
Trap game, baby.
The Chiefs go into Carolina and lose to the Panthers. That would be amazing.
What do you think the line on that is right now? 14.5
versus the Panthers?
Yeah, Chiefs Panthers 14.5 right now.
12, 13, something like that. But yeah, we definitely could get closer to 14. Because the Chiefs just don't blow anybody out. Like,
yeah,
they play games closer than they should. And you got the scrappy cats there in Carolina. Like, they're doing something. But in reality, look, the Chiefs do play the Bills, big rivalry type of game. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes this week. You've got the Chargers coming up, Texans who look to have a little bit of life in them, Steelers towards the end of the year, and then the Broncos again for the final game of the year at Denver. The Chiefs might not be playing for much at that point if they've already got everything locked up for the 1 seed. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to go undefeated this year. It's going to happen. Like, the L is going to come. It has to. For America.
For America.
All right. Next up, Falcons go into New Orleans, play the Saints, and the Saints eke out a win there, 20-17. New head coach getting beat the fuck up by his players at the end of the game. That was fun to watch. Kirk Cousins, though, looked like classic Kirk Cousins that I'm used to in Minnesota, where you're at a 4th and 8 and let's throw a check down. The game is on the line. Got to throw it here on 4th down. Got to get the first down. Let's throw a check down.
Completion percentage.
Yeah, it's tough. 306 yards, 23 of 38, and 1 interception. Like, not the worst statistical day for Kirk. You absolutely would like to see a couple tutties in there. But when you actually look past just the stats, it's things like that that just blow my mind with Kirk Cousins still. Just like he did versus the Giants 2 years ago in the playoffs. We have a 4th down. Got to throw a first down. Why are you throwing a check down to TJ Hawkinson to end the game that way? It doesn't make sense. And he did that in this game. Now, is it a must-win one for the Falcons? No. But you are in an NFC South that could have a Bucs team that decides to show up for the second half of the year. You shouldn't be resting on your laurels at all. And it just feels like Kirk Cousins might not have been paying attention at that point in the game.
Yeah, this game. Okay, so Evo, next time I try to say this one's easy, tell me to shut the fuck up.
Next time you say that, I'm going opposite.
Yeah,
I'm doing oppo. Because I brought it up, right? I said,
yeah, you brought it up.
The kiss of death.
Every fucking time I say this is an easy pick, it makes total sense. It goes the wrong fucking way. Derek Carr kept his new receiver MVS alive to the tune of 2 touchdowns. Didn't throw any hospital balls. Falcons turned the ball over. Tyler Algier can't fucking punch it in from the 1 yard line 3 straight times for a fantasy touchdown. That'd have been cool. Yeah, the Falcons absolutely fumbled this. They fucked this whole thing up. They did not play a good game. Kirk, you said it, check the game away. I don't understand it, but that's the duality of Kirk Cousins. You're going to live and die with that. And the Saints, hey, they had a great day. MVS shows up, makes some shit happen for this week. I hope that he continues to stay healthy for that squad because they need receivers like they need air.
Yeah, but this is an unrepeatable performance. 3 catches on 3 targets. One of them was a 67-yarder, and he gets 2 touchdowns out of that. That's absolutely not normal. Don't go out and buy yourself a bunch of stock in fantasy football and MVS. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your time. Realistically, the Saints should probably cut MVS so he can go sign with the New York Packers. Aaron, I'm sure, could use some help out there.
Soon as one of those guys learns how to play fucking left tackle, they'll be all right.
Yeah, well, that's not happening. Next, 49ers and Buccaneers in a relatively close game. 49ers do go down to Tampa Bay and get the win, 23-20. A good day for that 49ers team. Nothing special for Christian McCaffrey, of course. Kind of called that, saying like he was going to play a game, but it wasn't going to be the big factor, big game back for him. 13 rushes, 39 yards. Very pedestrian day. Pedestrian rushing day overall from that 49ers team, but a good day from Brock Purdy. 353 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Exactly the sort of play that you want to see from Brock Purdy long term. Juwan Jennings has a big day. Ricky Pearsall gets his first NFL touchdown.
Yeah.
So he's going to be fitting into that pretty nice. And then Christian McCaffrey, that is where he kind of made that impact, 68 yards on 6 catches, but a very pedestrian run day. Overall, though, if you look at the spread of the ball receiving-wise, it's exactly what you would expect. All the big-name players for that 49ers team, everyone got involved, and they all had above 50 yards receiving. Real solid day for the 49ers passing-wise. And that's where the Bucs are kind of the weakest right now, is their pass defense. I mean, obviously, they have all the injuries on offense, but it's that pass defense that is kind of their Achilles heel right now.
Yeah, their defense is not very good, but the offense didn't do enough in this game. Baker did not play good, man. He 18-29 for 116 yards, 4-yard average, and a touchdown. I guess he got him in the end zone. But he also fumbled the ball 3 fucking times. Didn't lose any, but those are negative play. If you fumble it, it's some sort of negative play, almost certainly. Baker did not do enough in this game. Brock Purdy distributed to his playmakers like Brock Purdy does, man. That's all he has to do. Brock doesn't have to be special because he's got a lot of dudes that can do a lot of shit with the ball in their hands after the catch. McCaffrey, Debo, Jordan Mason, Jawan Jennings, Kittle, Pearsall. Every single one of those guys has the ability to create after they get the ball. Like, it is the most insane offense to try to deal with once they get the ball in their hands because they don't have to do anything crazy, throw the ball down the field. One of the best running backs in the league, in Christian McCaffrey, does hardly shit. And nobody else really ran the ball very much because Christian was back. I still think they should try to work in some Jordan Mason a little bit more there. But listen, they did what they needed to do to win. Bucks found a way to keep it close. But this game was because Baker didn't do enough on the offensive side of the ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, Tampa went with much more of a rush attack than a pass attack. I mean, yes, 29 pass attempts isn't terrible, but that's where you're hurting is with your receivers. The 49ers know that, so they're going to lock down the receiving options. Cade Otton, who's been kind of like their star receiver since everyone went down, still had a very pedestrian day. 5 catches, 35 yards, which is what you kind of expect to see from an average tight end, right? But San Fran knows exactly what they're planning on doing. They're going to have to run the ball. We're going to take away half of their game plan. That's Bucky Irving still had a pretty good day. Rashad White, nothing too special, but they ended up going with a run attack that was also relatively shut down. Only 110 yards spread between those 4 guys. So you're not going to do that when things are hitting for the 49ers. That offense can be absolutely deadly. And this is more of the offense that we expect to see. If they even had more running game going, it's more of what you would expect to see from this 49ers team, but they didn't really have to. They're able to get it done and get the dub here.
Yep, absolutely.
All righty. Next up, Steelers and Commanders. Steelers get the dub in this one. Mike Tomlin, after a bye week, still fucking great.
Yeah.
28-27. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, we both picked the Steelers on this one, right?
We did both take the Steelers on this one. They were getting points.
We couldn't deny the Mike Tomlin factor here coming off of that bye week.
Yeah, well, the bye week, getting points against a rookie quarterback. There was a lot of things that kind of lined up here. Now, Jaden Daniels had probably one of his roughest games of the year. That Steelers defense generates a lot of pressure, can create a lot of confusion. He played okay, but, I mean, his worst completion percentage day of the year, no doubt. I thought there was at one point the Steelers were going to throw this thing away, faking it down in their end of the fucking field. But you know what? They played good enough to get it done. Najee Harris we were like really touting, man, Najee looks great right now. A lot with this offense. As soon as Russell Wilson came back, he goes back to looking very average and very pedestrian. The extra threat of the run helped Najee Harris a lot with Justin Fields.
I don't necessarily disagree that it didn't help him, but Najee has looked all right in the couple games that Russ has been there. This was not a good one for him. 21 carries, 53 yards, and only a 2.5 yard average. He did get the tutty, but they were splitting it up a lot more between him and Jalen Warren. I don't think you're going to get to see like fantastic Najee Harris play every single play or every single week. But he, on the whole, has looked a lot better. He has just looked like a better, more competent runner this year overall to me, because I kind of thought he was washed leading up to this. This game also came down right to the end to a ticky-tacky call. I don't know if you saw that. The final throw to Zach Ertz. Ertz passed the first down marker, turns around on the curl,
Oh, I
catches the
did
ball,
see this
and the
where it
ball
looks.
is like right there at the first down, and then
I
travels
thought he
back.
had it on the replay.
I thought it was pretty fucking close. Now on the field, I don't believe that they called it a first down, and it's I feel bad for the Commanders fans because that's one where it's kind of like a coin flip. If on the field they had called that a first down, I don't know that replay overdoes it or overturns it.
Whatever
Same
the
way
call
that,
on the field is what it was going to be, no matter what. There was not enough.
yeah, not enough to go one way or the other on that one. So, yeah, tough one
Also
for the
in this,
Commanders fans.
yeah, tough game for sure. But also in this game, potentially catch of the year from George Pickens. Did you see the layout that in the touchdown catch from George Pickens?
I don't think I did.
Okay, I'm gonna find that real quick. I should have had that up, but as you tee us up for the next one, it is one of the most insane catches.
Alrighty. Well, while you do that and attempt to pull it up here, I'm going to move on to our next game. Sorry, my phone is piss blowing up because apparently somewhere in town they have a shelter-in-place order going down. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
All right, so I think this is it with the Commanders. I'm gonna pop this up here real quick, dude. This is all right. Can we see it? Let's see what it looks like there. Let's go bigger screen. There we go. That's much better. So I turned the sound off. Drop back, but the body control.
That's a fantastic catch for sure.
The body control of this catch. Hopefully they show the other angle of this thing. Yep. Okay. Good block. Thanks, Cordero Patterson. But filthy catch.
That is George Pickens, man. He is a fantastic possession receiver, and once you start throwing him the ball a little bit more, you're going to get to see stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as I was watching it, because no Browns game, so I'm rocking 4 games at once until the afternoon games where they only had 3 fucking games on, which doesn't make any sense. But so I was flipping through a ton of games. Bye week sucks, but also you can watch a lot of fucking football.
Yeah, it can get a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
trying to flip through, have multiple screens out. It's tough.
Yeah,
but alrighty.
Tough loss for the Commanders. Good win for the Steelers. Steelers maintain top of the fucking AFC North.
Yep. I don't know if they're going to end up losing it, to be completely honest.
Not the way they're playing right now. Their defense is fantastic, and Russell Wilson has the offense just good enough. And listen, Russell can have a big blow-up game.
Yeah, I mean, he's put up some pretty good statistical games, so don't sleep on him. Next up, my Vikings versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
We do get the win, 12-7. It was a rough game to watch. 3 interceptions. We were talking about this a little bit during the game. Some of it was Sam Darnold for sure. I know that he got a lot more hate, I think, from even the national media than he necessarily deserved in this game. This is the sort of stuff that you're going to get from Sam Darnold now and then. You are going to get the interceptions and the turnovers. That being said, it seemed like KOC was in his play calling. He was like, don't shy away from what you're doing. Push the ball down the field because the game was so close. And I think that we know that we are that much better of a team. The defense was fucking outstanding for the Vikings in this game. It felt like KOC was like, just keep pushing it down the field. Just keep fucking going wild. Sooner or later, something's going to hit. It didn't. Okay. But it came down to the kicking game. No touchdowns scored in this game for the Vikings. John Parker Romo, kicker who had never kicked in an NFL game before, brought in this week to kick for us because Will Reichard's out for a couple weeks nursing an injury. John Parker Romo was a guy that we had in during training camp. Obviously, he's going to get beat up at the draft pick, but he comes in and does a pretty fucking bang up job getting us 4 field goals in this game.
They fucking won the game for you.
In addition to having a new long snapper, because our long snapper also went on IR for 4 weeks. So the whole special teams field goal kicking setup completely different, and they're able to go in there, make it happen. I'm glad that we got out of there with a win. It should have been a fucking blowout of the
Should have been a
Jaguars
cover,
game.
god damn it.
Yeah, it bothers me a lot that we didn't take control on offense a lot more in this game. Still though, shitload of offense from us in this one. 169 rushing yards, 233 passing yards for only putting up 12 points. Like, we had possession of the ball for like 45 minutes or something like that. Like, insane time of possession. We should have put up a lot more points. It was turnovers in the red zone and things like that that really killed us in this one. Again, happy we got the win. I don't think it's indicative of the team, especially on offense. Sam Darnold's got to rein in those turnovers a little bit, because it's very rare that you're going to have 3 turnovers and win a game. I think it's since 2010 that you have 3 turnovers like this and don't score a touchdown and win the game. It's a rough one. Yeah. It's a rough one. But onwards and upwards onto the Titans next week.
Yeah. B-Flow won this game for you. Good thing you have a tough matchup coming against the Titans. Real tough test to see if anything is improved. Question for you though, because I thought I saw something in the game, and I brought it up to you in the moment. Have there been any concerns with Jordan Addison and maybe his effort at times? Because that last interception, I felt like he put in a really piss poor effort to attack the ball down the field and kind of gave up on it. And that's how that third interception happened. It was late down the field. I believe that was Addison it was going to.
I don't know if it was Addison on that one. I know on one of the interceptions that JJ just kind of looked lackluster after the fact, and I think it was on like the third interception where he like didn't even chase down the guy. He was just kind of like, oh fuck, here we go again type situation. Look, there's been some talks about Addison knocking the ball, things that he had said on his Instagram. He's since clarified, been like, that's a saying that I have since I was back in college. It's not like I'm upset about knocking the ball. He's like, of course I want the ball more, but like, I'm not trying to preach about that on social media. And he's had decent games. Look, we haven't spread the ball out passing like you would really want to see with all of these offensive weapons yet. We haven't seen a complete week where, and don't get me wrong, TJ Hawkinson's only been back for 2 weeks now, but Addison, Jefferson, Hawkinson, all 3 of them out there feasting. We haven't gotten to see that yet. It's going to come sooner or later. At least hopefully Sam Darnold can put that sort of a performance together, because it would probably be a lot of fun to watch. But look, there are going to be games where Addison doesn't get a lot. There's games when Jefferson doesn't get a lot of play. He only had 5 catches for 48 yards in this game. That's probably a reason why you only score 12 points. But I'm not worried about Addison right now. I'm not worried about a lack of effort. I think the entire team kind of looked sluggish on offense at times. Like I said, when those interceptions were happening, I wasn't seeing the effort from the guys to go out there and tackle the person who just intercepted the ball or anything. Right. I think that as positive as the words out of the locker room have been, I think a lot of people were still on that team are kind of like, God damn it, like we are banging our head against the ceiling with Sam Darnold a little bit. And I get that. Like, I never expected to see this sort of a year for Sam Darnold. I expected him to have a good year, and he is having a good year. But he also is Sam Darnold.
He is still Sam Darnold. It's very true. Listen, you guys came away with a win, and I thought, I mean, obviously B-Flow won you guys this game. You only got 3 sacks, but it felt like Mac Jones was just under constant duress.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. All right, next up, Titans and Chargers. Chargers get the win here, 27-17. Will Levis, not the worst of days out there.
I believe he didn't turn the ball over. This might be Will Levis's first game of his career where he had no turnovers, and I'm dead fucking serious when I say that.
He tried. There was initially 1 fumble, but it was recovered. 18 of 23, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. Another what I would call kind of pedestrian day, but he didn't have any crazy turnovers. Also, 5
He
rushes, 41
threw it
yards.
for over 60% completion percentage. This is the second best game of Will Levis's life following the first game of his career.
Yeah. And Calvin Ridley woke up as far as playing with Will
Yeah.
Levis, was able to get 84 yards, 2 touchdowns, which he's kind of been on a bit of a tear these past like 3 games or so as well. Calvin Ridley finally playing football now that he doesn't have D-Hop overshadowing him, apparently. But still not good enough to go up against this Chargers team. Look, Herbert looks really good. Another touchdown from Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
2 for 24 and a touchdown. Like, it's not what you want out of your first round pick. You want a lot more, but at least they're getting production out of him now. Kind of out of necessity, just because he's a big body receiver that can run, and you have to put him out there, like opposite of Lab McConkey and Josh Palmer, because you don't really have anyone else. But it's nice that they're getting some use out of him. Another good day for J.K. Dobbins, 15 rushes, 50 yards, but Gus Edwards coming back off of the IR, the Ravens tandem back there. Gus Edwards gets 10 carries for 55 yards. Looked a little bit better out of the two.
I would not be surprised to see a split backfield as the season continues on, just because Dobbins coming off the injury, you want to save the legs. He's had a good year. You can use both of those guys, and Harbaugh loves to run the ball.
Absolutely. That's the thing, is that, I mean, both Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins have had a crazy injury history. You know, J.K. Dobbins ACL and then comes back and immediately tears the Achilles. Like, been terrible for him, and it's been amazing that he's been able to stay healthy this whole year. Gus Edwards starts off injured basically this whole time and comes back and starts to look good. Yeah, you're going to want to feed Gus Edwards the ball a lot more now in hopes that J.K. Dobbins can be better going forward in the future, potentially into the playoffs here, because the Chargers are 6-3 right now. I'll say this, looking at this Chargers schedule and who they've played so far, it's not like they've been going up against the who's who. It's probably why they have this record. It's probably why they have the number 1 scoring defense in the league. But you've got this win against the Titans. They had your Browns with Jameis Winston. The Saints, Derek Carr, when they were just tumbling. Cardinals, Kyler Murray, decent, but sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. Bo Nix. You did have one game against Pat Mahomes. You had Justin Fields with the Steelers, the Panthers, and the Raiders. They have not gone up against that crazy of talent, especially at the quarterback position. They're going to be moving into a part of their schedule where they are playing a lot more talent. It's going to be really interesting to see if that defense can hold up. Next week, you got the Bengals, then the Ravens, the Falcons, the Chiefs again, Buccaneers. They're going into a really tough part of their schedule, and it'll be interesting to see if that defense can hold up and if that sort of a run game continues to lend itself well towards this Chargers team.
Well, we know that they're going to continue to try to run the ball. They're probably going to play some good defense. Will that best scoring defense in the NFL continue to hold up? Maybe not. Listen, the Bucs team, they can score a lot. They need Mike Evans back bad, though. They need to get healthy. Listen, Baker has the ability to go and put up a ton of points. Some of those guys have the ability to go put up a ton of points. But you brought up some teams like Pat Mahomes. He didn't blow him up yet this year. Baker's always due for a bad game. They could keep this thing going for quite some time. I think that they have a chance to, for sure, like lock in a wild card spot. At this point, they're already 3 games back behind the Chiefs. I don't think they're catching them, especially based on the Chiefs' schedule, because it's pretty fucking simple throughout the rest of the year. But they could easily work themselves into a wild card spot, the 5 or the 6. The 7. I mean, that's where they're at right now, I think, right?
Which team? I'm very confused about who you're talking about.
The Chargers.
The Chargers are second in the AFC West right now.
Yeah.
You kept on talking about Baker Mayfield, and I was like,
well, you brought up the schedules going forward. They're scoring defense. So they're going to play the Chiefs. They're going to play the Buccaneers. They're going to play all those guys.
Bengals, Ravens. Yeah.
So those guys can all those teams can put up points. Yeah. Baker has the ability to. But it's also possible that Chargers defense is going to be really fucking good because Baker could blow it. It could suck. Pat Mahomes has not been great. We have seen games where Joe Burrow fucking sucks. I mean, now granted, it's later in the season, so Joe Burrow will probably be good. we have seen late season games where Lamar Jackson kind of just falls off, starts out like an MVP, doesn't finish like an MVP. This Chargers team has the juice to play really good defense and run the ball and make the playoffs here at the end, because they're not going to win their division because the Chiefs are too far ahead. However, they are going to probably make a wild card spot depending on how this next stretch of games goes.
Yeah. That's
there we go. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, I got lost in where team I was talking about.
I'm talking about Baker, and I was like, when do we go back to the Bucks? Yeah, Chargers are 6th seed as of right now if the season were to end today. I do think that based on who that they have played, they are probably the most likely to fall out of this playoff spot and have someone who, like the Broncos, who are currently the 7th seed, with how good their defense has been against good teams and seeing a moderate offense and better play out of Bo Nix, they could work themselves up a little bit. Right now, the Bengals are in the 9th spot, but if they have a really good second half of the year, or the Dolphins, who are 3-6. Look, last year, Rams were 3-6. They made it to the playoffs. It's doable. It is very unlikely. But, I mean, you've got a couple good teams here in Miami, the Bengals. The Miami, especially if their offense starts going. But the Bengals, for sure, if that offense continues to be kind of a juggernaut, they just need some okay play from the defense. One of those teams could absolutely unseat the Chargers if what I'm saying is true, and that the Chargers just haven't been playing against really, really good competition, at least as far as the quarterback is concerned. So they're definitely a team to watch here going forward.
All right.
Next up, Eagles, Cowboys. Cowboys get absolutely fucking slaughtered by the Eagles. I had hoped it'd be closer. It absolutely was not. Fucking terrible game from this Cowboys team. Cooper Rush, 13-23. No touchdowns, no interceptions.
45 yards on
Bo Nix award of the week.
We should start giving out Bo Nix as the Bo Nix performance of the week.
And it's funny because Bo Nix is playing good enough that he's not earning another Bo Nix award for a while.
I know, not for a while, but he should be the namesake of it.
Yeah, I don't completely disagree. Bad enough that Trey Lance had to get in 6 throws, 4 completions, 21 yards. Looked a little bit better except for that interception. But honestly, just like completely terrible on offense. The Eagles were able to shut him down, and I don't know that it was the Eagles necessarily playing well. It was just like nothing on this Dallas offense was good. And even the sunlight had it out for him in this game. Like it's bad when you're coming up with those sorts of excuses. Now, don't get me wrong, that the fucking sun, all the pictures and angles that you're seeing, it looked pretty fucking bad.
Close the fucking roof, Jerry.
It wasn't even that. It was coming through the sides.
Oh, was it coming through the windows?
Yeah. They're talking about adding fucking shades, sunshades and shit like that to cover that shit up.
Jerry's got the money.
Yeah. It was bad. It was a bad day. Cooper Rush, also 2 lost fumbles in this game.
The 4 total.
Zeke Elliott lost fumble. Jake Ferguson lost fumble. Yes. 4 total lost fumbles. It was just a terrible, terrible, terrible fucking game all around for this fucking Cowboys team. Dak Prescott officially getting surgery, done for the year. Pack at home, Cowboys fans. This is not your year.
It's over, dude. Hey, you know what? I feel very good about the way we were forecasting this team at the start of the year. Even when they were healthy, which wasn't for very long, but they weren't great. And then the injuries started to pile up. We were both off of this Cowboys train right from the rip this season. We clamored, don't fucking pay Dak. They do. Dak gets hurt. Dak out for a year. Dak's still getting paid.
I'm not even completely against them having paid Dak. I'm all for them paying CD. You have to find a way to keep the rest of the team together. I just didn't think that they were talented enough. Like, I don't think Dak is a bad quarterback. I think that he probably has a ceiling, but if you put a talented enough roster around him, you can go a long ways with Dak. I'm not as
you can't get a talented enough roster around Dak because of Dak's fucking contract.
You can if you've drafted well for the past decade.
Yeah, who the fuck is their GM? That's not happening, bro.
Yeah, it's really tough look. I think the question kind of moving forward here, it's not about the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. Like, good game, 34 points. Obviously, they did anything and everything that they wanted to in this game, beating up against a rival. The question for me is, where do the Cowboys go forward from here? And it's got to be a coaching change. So who are the most likely candidates? I think I brought it up on last show. You've got your Bill Belichick or Nick Saban or something like that. I think Deion Sanders could be thrown in the competition just because of the fucking nepotism with Jerry Jones and him liking those guys.
God,
And I don't know, like, who else is going to be a decent fit to go down here? If you are a prospective head coach, a more high profile head coach option, there's some things to like about this team. You've got your quarterback locked up. You've got one of the better wide receivers in the league. If you can keep Mike Parsons, you got one of the better edge defenders in the league. And then after that, you kind of got a blank slate and you got Jerry. Like, you've got some good things there to build off of.
The way you describe the quarterback, you got your quarterback locked up. Dak can't fucking win in the postseason. He's got the Kirk Cousinitis.
Yeah, look, him and Dak and Kirk are very similar in that respect. But in the right situation, you can have yourself a hell of a regular season and get your fan base all riled up. Right?
They're gonna have to catch that Joe Flacco fucking sale that propelled him to his big ass contract, like where he was just unbelievable in the playoffs for it to happen, because the teams they're not talented. They're so far from talented. And Dak has not elevated guys around him in a couple of years. It feels like. Yeah. I mean, they're in a bad spot. They're in a bad way. I don't feel bad for Cowboys fans. I feel bad for a lot of fans of a lot of teams because I understand what it feels like, what it's like to fucking be perpetually losers. I don't feel bad for Cowboys fans at all because they are perpetually losers, but they don't even fucking realize it. So keep going, Jerry.
All right. You're team president for a day. Who do you think goes in there? Best option head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, because I don't know.
Best option head coach?
McCarthy, he should be fired. We've said this for multiple years that he should be fired, and he still hasn't been. Feels like the relations with him and Jerry Jones haven't been the best for a while. And if anything, there is an opportunity now for them to be like, well, look at how it hurt our team was. You've got the fat corpse of Zeke Elliott out there. You've got Dak Prescott that goes down for the season. You've got no one other than CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons hasn't been playing. Like, of course, we're not going to be a good team. You know, we got the injury bug this year. There's an excuse there if they want to use that, and I think it would be foolish to do that. But assuming they move on from Mike McCarthy, which a competent organization should do, who do you think is the best fit?
Well, you need a culture change. You need to be more tough. And you need somebody who's not going to put up with bullshit.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Not Nathaniel Hackett. That would be hilarious. But you're going to hate it. It's B-Flow. It's B-Flow. That's the best fucking candidate for that job, and it's not even close.
Like, I love Brian Flores. I would hate to see him go. Do they need a defensive coach there?
They do not. What are they going to do? Are they going to create some new thing? So Dak already knows he's in a system, man. Dak is going to call the majority of shit anyways. He needs somebody that he likes as an offensive coordinator and a play caller. He does not need an offensive head coach who is designing and creating all these fucking schemes. I don't think. Do you really think that you're going to take Dak from what he is now and turn him into something else?
No, I don't think so.
So then you hire a guy that can revolutionize your defense with your young defensive pieces that you're hoping to keep in Micah Parsons and instill a culture. He is not going to have a problem telling Jerry, but that might be a problem with getting hired. He's the best option because he will do what the fuck is best for the team, and he'll tell Jerry to fuck off. but that will preclude him from getting hired there.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, but you're probably right as far as best options. B-Flow is probably the best guy for that job.
There's no doubt about it. That's the kind of
Unless-
guy, unless you get a Bill Belichick. That's
Unless
the
you get
only
a
other way.
Belichick.
Exactly.
That's your culture changer right there.
Yeah.
Or a Saban. Like I said, I don't know that Saban's going to come out and do that.
back to the pros, bro. He's not. He is the greatest college football coach of all time. I don't think he gives a fuck about coming back and proving that he was a good NFL coach. He's the best of all fucking time in college.
Yeah, I feel you there. I feel you. All righty. Enough of the Eagles-Cowboys game that was just atrocious.
Yeah, we didn't even really break that down. We just trashed the Cowboys.
Yeah. We have yet another atrocious game. Cardinals-Jets. Cardinals absolutely dick stomp the Jets. How long before Aaron Rodgers is benched, do you think? Because a 31-6 beaten by the Cardinals, it's not the fucking coach, it's the team. And the team is all embroiled around one player, and it's Aaron Rodgers. Things are not fucking okay with the New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers will be benched when Aaron Rodgers fucking retires. Because that's exactly what will happen when he's benched. If he is benched. He is going to retire as the fucking starting quarterback of the Jets. This is the last year. He's not playing anymore after this. But he will not be benched. This season lives and dies with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Very similar to what the Browns were going to do with Deshaun Watson. They were going to fucking live and die with however good Deshaun is how good the Browns are. Well, guess what? However fucking good Aaron is how good the Jets are. And they suck. Aaron has been terrible. His ball placement has been, it is the same kind of shit that we're seeing out of the guy that took his job up in Green Bay and Jordan Love. They are not different quarterbacks right now. It's insane. Aaron
Jordan
has been so bad.
Better. Jordan Love's probably better. That's painful for me to say, but he's probably better.
It's not painful for you to say. You fucking hate Aaron Rodgers.
I hate the both of them. I hate the both of them. 22 of 35, 151 yards, a 4.3 yard average is fucking atrocious. Not a good run day. Not a good anything day from this team. I saw some.
You know what he should do?
Stuff.
He should force feed more targets to Devontae Adams. Maybe if you quadruple his targets over the young guy, you'll perform better. Maybe that's what you should do, Aaron. Just keep force feeding the fucking ball to Devontae Adams.
That force feed him, he did 13 targets, only 6 receptions compared to 6 targets and 5 receptions from Garrett Wilson, who overall had a better day. Look, man, this team is probably the Jets are kind of fucked here.
Yeah. This is a complete failure.
Pick wise, money wise. They have pieces on this team that are pretty fucking good. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Devontae theoretically going forward. And then they have a solid fucking defensive group that does not get the credit because their offense fucking can't stay on the field and give them a fucking break. They've got so much dead money tied up in this team. It doesn't matter if Rodgers retires. Yeah, they can defer some of that money, but he still has just guarantees on guarantees. They're kind of fucking screwed for a minute going forward, and I love it.
I was gonna ask you.
So what you get? We called it all along here on the Lineman Lounge. Bad fucking move. I said it at the time.
Should have given up 2 ones to go and Lamar Jackson
to at least be in the sweepstakes for the transition tag, right?
Yep.
Should have fucking done it. How bad of a fucking move that is?
That is the question. How bad is this move? We've had some really bad moves.
It's not Deshaun Watson bad.
Okay, that's what I was like. Where is the bar here? Because Deshaun Watson, obviously, we still have a lot of money tied up, dead money on top of that. That it is also becoming that approach with the Jets because it's not only Aaron Rodgers' contract that is being saddled. Deshaun is the only thing that's fucking with us. The Jets went out and they mortgaged a lot of things to bring in Aaron's friends, to bring in additional money, lose additional picks. I got to tell you, Jets are starting to creep up on the Browns, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't want to have the worst contract in history, so I'm a homer a little bit, but they got to be getting fucking close when you consider the other assets they have traded and money they have spent to get guys there.
It's if you are able to directly tie, and I mean it's legitimate to directly tie everything else that was involved with the Aaron Rodgers trade, as far as everyone else that was brought in, from Nathaniel Hackett, Devontae Adams, all the fucking former Packers. Like, I get the Lincoln connection there. It's obvious, but if we're looking just purely trade for trade type situation, the amount of money you guys gave for Deshaun Watson along with the first round picks, that's the killer there. The pick compensation to get Rodgers was not nearly as bad. The money was bad, but not nearly as bad. But then if you do start to factor in all the other little bits, as far as you had to trade these picks to go get Devontae.
They gave up picks to go get Randall fucking Cobb.
Yeah. It's that sort of stuff. It makes it closer. I don't think it makes it completely comparable, but it also has set this franchise back for a couple years.
Yeah, a couple is, I think if you're lucky, it's only a couple.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like, you fucking get what you deserve when you go out after a fucking dude like this. The writing was on the wall. You are trying to fucking pay your way to the Super Bowl. It's not going to be able to work like that for most situations.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Like, the only team that has gotten close to really doing that in recent memory is the Rams, and they had the fuck them picks mentality, and it worked out for them. And then they are in a lull now, and they're still, just because they're a well-coached organization, they still have some decent pieces, they're still able to stay afloat. You go out and you trade your picks for scumbags, and you end up like this. Excuse me, sorry, that was aggressive. Scumbags. I'm not fucking taking it back. Cardinals get the win here. Good game for Kyler Murray. Good game for Trey Benson at running back, the backup there, because James Conner didn't need to play too much because they were just whooping ass out there. And James Conner was a big factor in the pass game, so he didn't have to run as much. So good game for the Cardinals. Nice to see them show up. Bad game for the Jets. A lot of question marks for them going forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron just kind of calls it. Like, if Aaron has a fucking phantom injury here.
I wonder what his injury guarantees are like.
I mean, I'm pretty sure his contract is now fully guaranteed.
Is it fully now?
I think the way that it was restructured, putting some dead cap money in future years, I think it's fully guaranteed. I can pull up Spot Track to see, but we'll see.
And it's a lot of fucking money he's still owed, regardless of whether he plays or not. It was an ass whooping. We don't need to listen. I enjoyed the last couple games we broke down because we didn't really have to break them down. The games were shit. We just got to bury a couple teams that we fucking called it on.
Yeah. Okay. 2025 base salary of $2.5 million, $23 million cap hit. 2026 void year. 27 void year. 28 void year. 29 void year. He still has 60 something, 70, 75 million guaranteed. Something like that.
That's 15 a year. It's not terrible.
No, the cap hit for 26 when he's not on the team is 21 mil, 27, 21 mil, 28, 14 mil, 7 mil. Look, it's not ungodly, especially with the way that the salary cap is growing and quarterback contracts overall in general. But you did pay a guy well over 100 million to tank your fucking team. So, and picks, and you lost yourself a good coach in Robert Saleh. There's a lot of ways to look at this. None of them are good for the Jets.
Nope. No, they are not.
Bad business.
Let's not bury the Jets, and let's talk about a team that we actually enjoy talking about. Yeah. One last time, get it in there.
I'll do it again. Don't fucking test me.
I'll fucking do it again.
Detroit Lions go into Houston, and they're getting their asses whooped by the Texans for a little bit. And then the Motor City Kitties claw their way back, get a win 26-23. No points in the second half for this Houston Texans team. I thought they were going to do it, man. I thought the Texans were going to pull out a dub versus this Dan Campbell team. And it doesn't help that Jared Goff throws fucking 5 picks. It was the same sort of situation that I felt like was going on with Sam Darnold, where they were just throw it, just keep fucking throwing it. You're indoors, throw it. And 5 picks later, and they're in a deep fucking hole. But it just kind of goes to show that this team is good enough that they can overcome a 5 interception day,
resilience,
and hold a Houston Texans team to no points in the second half, and they're able to eke out a win. Like, I was really hoping, despite the fact that had picked, the Texans, or excuse me, the Lions to win and everything, I had really hoped that the Texans would get the win in this game just for the NFC North landscape.
right?
But it is what it is. Lions are a good fucking team, man.
Yeah, man, they're resilient as fuck. They scored 19 in the second half to win this game. Defense pitches a shutout in the second half. Goff played like shit the majority of this game. Texans did a great job. They did a great job on defense. The Lions find ways, man. They always find a way. I have no doubts in my mind that this team can win the Super Bowl this year. And because it doesn't matter who they're playing. It doesn't matter the scenario. You remember a few years ago, Pat Mahomes, playoffs, down by fucking 17 or some shit in the first quarter to Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. They climb right back and beat the fuck out of the Texans. I feel like this Lions team is built to do that same kind of shit. It does not matter the deficit. It does not matter what happens in the first half. They are going to continue to play. They're going to show up the whole fucking game, and they got a puncher's chance. They got the shooter's chance. Fucking Jared Goff's got the thrower's chance. He'll throw that bitch as many times as he has to, into any coverage that he has to. Eventually, it's going to work out. At least that's what they believe, because Dan Campbell enables him to make those mistakes and continue to go out and play. They trust him. They believe in Goff. Goff believes in that team. I love the way this team battles. Texans, very good. But I cannot say enough good things about the way this Lions team responded to work their way back.
Yeah. Look, if you have a quarterback that goes out and throws 5 interceptions, there's a difference between a Jared Goff doing it, a Pat Mahomes doing it, or something like that. Those guys, their teammates aren't going to turn on them. It's one game. Crazy things fucking happen. If you have a different quarterback like a Sam Darnold who throws fucking 3 interceptions, he hasn't earned the right for his team to look the other way yet. Jared Goff absolutely has. They were still able to go out there and get the win. I bet you at this point on the team, no one gives a flying fuck that he threw 5 interceptions. They care about the W, and they're looking on to next week. That's it. That's a good team.
Yeah, that's all they give a fuck about. They don't care. That team, I feel like there are very low or no egos. At least not that has come out so far. We'll see what happens as things progress, but I just feel like that culture, not built for that.
No, not at all. All right, that was our Sunday night game. That takes us to Monday night. Dolphins, Rams. Rough one for the Rams here. Yeah. Dolphins get the W. A series of pretty unfortunate events for this Rams team. A bad drop by Puka, missed field goals, because all it was field goals from this Rams team, and a bunch from Miami as well. Three field goals for Miami, 5 of 6 for the Rams. Kind of an ugly game offensively for both sides of the ball. But more things went wrong for this Rams team. Kyron Williams has an untimely fumble. Matt Stafford has 2 fumbles. Both of them were able to be covered, but things just did not look right with this Rams offense from what we've seen for the past couple games. And at the end of the day, it was a turnover battle and a luck thing that led the Miami Dolphins to a win here.
Yeah, man. The Rams are still beat up. Critical mistakes at critical times. I love Kyron Williams. I loved watching him run the ball. He will run right through a motherfucker's face, a la Marshawn Lynch style. I love watching him play. but the Dolphins finally got a little bit of something kind of going. We saw Jalen Waddle finally kind of make an appearance, but as soon as we do, Tyreek Hill falls off the map. Like, and it's still not a big spot by any means, but Jalen Waddle has been ghost for fucking weeks. So this is a good game for him following 3 catches over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but still, this is kind of a fake showing from him. He had 2 catches in the first half that netted him a majority of his yards, I think 51 of the yards, and then 1 catch thereon after for 6 yards. Like, he was generally a ghost for this game as well. It just wasn't a great passing game for this team, for Miami, much at all. So I wouldn't read into that.
In general.
Yeah, it was a really tough offensive game for both teams in this one. I got to be completely honest. I only watched like half the game because I got a new VR headset for the boys for Christmas, and of course, I had to test it out.
Obviously, make sure it's safe.
Works. Don't want to see the vertigo and everything, so had to give it a test out. And I was busy pretending to be a cat walking around some room, knocking shit off shelves and stuff like that. So that's how good the game was last night. Good enough for me to fucking put on VR and play a cat simulator. It was a difficult watch overall.
That sounds like some sort of weird sex thing, but I believe
zero sex involved.
Okay.
Zero sex involved. It was legitimately a cat. You're a cat.
Okay.
I think the game is even called I Am Cat.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to check that. I Am Cat.
I Am Cat.
I like it.
Anyways, looking at both of these teams moving forward, we are getting into this time of the year where we have to start considering our team's playoff hopefuls. Are they outside looking in, but they could reach it or not? You have the Dolphins at 3-6 and the Rams at 4-5. Both of these teams could potentially work their way into the playoffs at this point, despite having losing records. All right. Dolphins going forward here, they've got a relatively decent schedule to make a bit of a run. Raiders, Patriots, they go to the Packers. That's going to be a tough one. But then they have the Jets, Texans, a tough game, 49ers, tough game, your Browns, and the Jets again. I think that they have to win both of those Jets games to have a chance. And even then, we're looking, obviously at a wild card slot and some things to go well for them. But they kind of have to run the gambit here at the end in order to find themselves in the playoffs. Rams, again, like I said, last year this time they were 3-6, and they were able to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've got the Patriots, the Eagles, Saints, Bills, 49ers, Jets, Cardinals, and Seahawks. A little bit of a tougher road for them, but they are 1 win better right now. Third in the NFC West. It's going to be an uphill climb for both these teams. Do you think either of them are able to make it into the playoffs?
I don't think Miami is going to be able to make it. The Rams, maybe. I think the Rams might actually have a little bit tougher road to go. The NFC is kind of packed right now. I just don't know that the Dolphins are going to be able to get things turned around. I think that they've dug themselves quite a fucking hole. They're the 10 or 11 right now?
Who's that? Miami?
Miami, yeah.
Miami is the 10 seed currently.
Yeah, I mean, they only got to go up. They got to go up 3 couple games, but I don't believe in this Miami team right now. Good win here, but I don't see it. I think if anybody could do it, it would maybe be the Rams. But then again, I don't feel great about that either. Rams have a pretty simple fucking schedule though. Patriots, they suck. The Saints, they suck. The Jets, they suck. Now, a couple other really tough games in there. 49ers, Bills, Eagles. So they're going to be right around that 9-win mark. That might be good enough to get you in the NFC. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Both these teams might be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. They both have pretty steep uphill battles, I think, going forward in order to make it into the playoffs. But with that, that's our Week 10 wrap-up. Now we can look ahead towards Week 11. Now, Week 11, 4 teams on bye. Giants, Cardinals, Bucks, and Panthers all on bye. Thank God for the Giants and Panthers being on bye. Cardinals and Bucks, I'd still like to see those teams play, but not that much. Bye week for those teams, but we have a Thursday night game that actually is kind of looking like it could be a good one for us here.
Should be good.
On Amazon Prime. Washington Commanders go into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. Eagles are favored -3.5 points, -105 odds, or you can give the points to the Commanders for -115 odds. Over or under 48.5 in this one. They're expecting to be higher scoring. Do you think that the Eagles are actually better, or have they just gone up against some dog shit teams recently, i.e. the Cowboys? Or do you think they're actually starting to become a little bit better of a team overall? Are they?
Yes. The answer is yes. They're getting better.
Is fixed things over there.
Yeah, they're playing better. They're doing really nice things with their offense. Saquon Barkley, granted, did not have a great statistical game last game. Didn't fucking need one. So yeah, they're getting better, but they've also played some dog shit fucking teams. This game I expect to be much, much closer. We did see kind of a chink in the armor of Jaden Daniels. Only a 50% completion, no touchdown. There is now some tape out there on ways that you can slow Jaden Daniels down. I don't know that the Eagles defense can replicate what the Pittsburgh Steelers defense can do, though. Their defense is good, but I don't know if it can replicate it. The interior pressure is going to be insane coming from that Eagles defensive front. We know that. But off the edges doesn't scare me as much. And if Jaden Daniels can break the pocket, that's where you get into trouble. I don't know if they'll be able to contain him. Eagles really improved. Jaden Daniels, tough game. But I think division game, close game, give me the 3 and the hook. I like the Commanders, +3.5 here.
And this is the thing, looking back at the Eagles schedule here, they've won 5 in a row. They started off with your Browns. Browns covered in that one. Called that. You've got a win against the Giants, 28-3. Absolutely should have fucking waffle stomped them. The only real team here that I'm looking at in these past 5 games that they've played that has anything scary about them is the Bengals. Because the Bengals can put up points on offense. They only put up 17. Eagles put up 37 in that game. A close one versus the Jaguars, and then we obviously know about this dog shit game this week with the fucking Cowboys. They haven't gone up against anything too crazy. They have pretty much dominated in all of those games except for going up against the Jaguars, 28-23. Are they better? I'm still not completely sold. Like, having those receivers back out there and AJ Brown and Devonta Smith and the way that Saquon is performing, it's nice, but you are going up against this Commanders team that has a legitimate offense. They've added some to the defense now with Marshawn Lattimore. I kind of like taking the Commanders plus the 3.5 points. I do. But man, have we been bad on Thursday night. Do I fade you on this one?
Listen, well, you faded me on the week, pretty much. You were too. You couldn't take it. Like, we were picking too much the same. You're like, fuck that, can't have it.
I did. And on the ones that I said that I did that, what had happened? I fucking lost.
Yeah.
I fucked up on those ones. Fuck it, I'm doing it again. Taking the Eagles -3. I don't want to. I came into this one, the Commanders +3.5. We're fading the Thursday night game. Fucking, it feels like every Thursday night, the team that I feel good about winning doesn't happen. This is less about you. This is more about me.
Okay.
I think the Commanders +3.5 is the right play. I'm fading the Thursday night pick.
Fading yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fade Evo season? Are we in Fade Evo season?
No. We've tried that. It didn't work out earlier in the season. Now we have to fade here and there.
Okay.
This is like fading you whenever you say this is a fucking easy pick.
No, yeah. If I say that, I'm immediately going to be like, no, let's do the other thing. I do feel good about this. Is going to be a close game. Very, very good game. Jaden Daniels, can he bounce back from the worst performance of his career, essentially? I think so, man. He's been super, super talented. That Eagles back end can be susceptible to some big plays. Scary Terry is showing the whole fucking NFL that he is legit. He finally has good quarterback play, man. I'm excited for this game. I understand why you're fading it, though. We have been dog shit about picking Thursday night games.
Yeah. Like, you should throw up the graph again of our picks, and let's just scroll back through
Thursdays.
Because I feel it in my plums that we've been bad, but I need to see it for sure.
So I'm fairly certain that is accurate. So Thursday, Ravens -6.5. We both took that wrong. Texans, wrong. Vikings,
that
wrong.
red, baby.
We got the Broncos. You missed the Seahawks there too.
Fuck.
We both missed the Bucks. You missed that.
Fuck.
Patriots. You got one.
Is it one or two that I've gotten right?
2. I think I'm on 3 now. Okay, so we suck at Thursday night, so it makes sense.
It's not good, fella. It's not good. Fade the fucking Thursday night play. Yeah. I feel like from now on, we have to pick opposite of each other
on Thursday
night. For one of us
has to fucking get it.
The delta has to increase, ladies and gentlemen. It has to. And we're going to force it one way or another.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Aaron Rodgers is a scumbag.
Oh, man. That was the last game, though, right?
One thing you should know, ladies and gentlemen, about media is never leave dead air. So if there's dead air, Aaron Rodgers is a scumbag.
Fill it with Aaron Rodgers is a scumbag. Brother, that's about it. No early games. We don't have to worry about getting up at the ass crack of dawn to watch a game that fucking sucks in a different country.
That is correct.
We just get Thursday night football, and then Sunday we'll be joined by Carmen Angelo, newsman. Got a new job over at iHeartRadio. Just started yesterday, so we're gonna have a nice conversation with him. Then he's gonna join us. We're gonna pick all the games on Sunday morning. But brother, unless you got anything else for tonight, we're gonna get the fuck out of here.
No, man, I need to go eat some more pizza and get ready for a fun day of flying tomorrow.
Hell yeah. How's that pizza? Enjoy the flights. I don't miss it. I do, but I don't.
I feel you. There's good days and bad days.
I feel that. Feel that for sure. But guys, this is the Lineman Lounge. You can follow us anywhere down below. X, Facebook, TikTok, call line, and the YouTube, the ever important.
What the fuck is my camera? There we go.
There it is. The YouTube. If you guys would not mind, please head over to the YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Let your friends know that we're funny. We have a good time. Our bets sometimes are fun. Sometimes we got to fade ourselves. But regardless, we always like to have a good time. And hopefully, if you tune in, you have a good time with us. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you spend some of it with us, we are forever grateful. But with that, we're going to get out of here. Evo, give the people one last word. Do it.
Rodgers is a scumbag.
Fucking A, he is. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is the Lineman Lounge. We're getting out of here. See ya.